Shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waha, Waka, Kodash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who will well and teach well, because those are the men who I've learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, and shalom to you sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you sincere sisters that's listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. I am the brother Mashiach, Irazakah, from the Servants of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And pretty much in this lesson, I'm going to do another lesson. I did this before, but I'll do it again. It's going to be titled as Daniel, the 7th chapter. And we're going to break down from verse 1 all the way to verse 9, just to get a lesson in. And then I'll do the second part probably tomorrow, Lord willing. But this is just to refresh myself and to go back over these breakdowns because it's needed and it's important. Okay, so we're going to go into Daniel chapter 7 breakdown. We're going to break down from verse 1 all the way to verse 9. So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. This is Daniel 7 and 1. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon. King Belshazzar was the last king to rule in Babylon. Okay. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king, it says Belshazzar, right, king of Babylon. All right, it says Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. So starting from the top, King Belshazzar was the last king to rule in Babylon, and he was killed by Darius the Mede, because you had Darius the Mede that killed King Belshazzar, and we can prove that in Daniel 5, and we'll start at verse 24. It says, then was the part of the hand sent from him, and his writing was written. Verse 25. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. Right? Verse 26. This is the interpretation of the thing, mene. The Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. It says, tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Right? Verse 28. It says, Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. You see that? So you had the Medes that came in. And it took down the Babylonians. Then you had the Persians that came mightier than the Medes, which became the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay? Verse 29, it says, then commanded Belshazzar, you see that? And they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. Verse 30, and in that night was Belshazzar the king, right, of the Chaldeans slain. See, so King Belshazzar was the last king to rule in Babylon, and he was killed by Darius the Mede. Verse 31, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, right, being about 62 years old. You see that? So he killed King Belshazzar. King Belshazzar was the last king to rule in Babylon, and he was killed by Darius the Mede. It says, continuing, Daniel 7 and 1, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Right. Like brothers in the truth, they get visions, right? They have dreams, and they have visions and dreams, right? And it says, then he wrote a dream and told the sum of the matters. Like what brothers do, they have dreams and visions of either getting beamed up on the chariot, or they have dreams about him be taken to a concentration camp and being killed. Brothers have dreams. You know how brothers do testimonies. They do, tell the sum about the matter. It's similar to what Daniel the prophet was doing here. Verse 2, it says, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. And that great sea, that's referring to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? That's what that's referring to. Verse 3, it says, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. And those 4 beasts, that's representing the 4 major empires, which I'm going to read right here. This is Revelation 7 and 17. These great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arise out of the earth. And again, the 4 beasts is a representation of the 4 major empires, which was the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire. Those are the 4 major empires, and that's what that's talking about there. Okay? Going to verse 4. It says the first was like a lion, right? And had eagle's wings. This is representing the Assyrian Empire. And I want to show that to back up what I'm saying, right? When you look at the artwork of the Assyrian Empire, which I should have already had out, so Salakia on my part, right? We're going to go and get that. Put in Assyrian. Salakia if I'm spelling it wrong. Assyrian Empire, right? And let me see. Lion's wings. Just to show you. See that? So this is how it looks. Just to give an example. So this is the Assyrian Empire. That's what that's representing. So let's read that again. And this is Daniel 7 and verse 4. It says the first was like a lion, right? And had eagle's wings. This is representing the Assyrian Empire. It says, I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And the wings thereof were plucked. That's referring to the rising of the Babylonian Empire. Because you had the Babylonians that came in and they took over the Assyrian Empire. Right? So you had the Babylonians, they came in and took over the Assyrian Empire. All right? That was the rising of the Babylonian Empire. It says, and it was lifted up from the earth, right? It says, meaning the rising of the Babylonian Empire, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And this is talking about Nebuchadnezzar, because Nebuchadnezzar, he was mighty in that time. You know, he was very mighty and powerful in that time. Nebuchadnezzar was. This is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. And it says, and a man's heart was given to it. And a man's heart was given to it. Because Nebuchadnezzar in that time, he was in high power in that time. And that's Nebuchadnezzar taking down the Assyrian Empire. The Babylonian Empire taking down the Assyrian Empire. Right? But that's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Right? Verse 5, it says, and behold, another beast, a second. And the second beast, this is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay? It says, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, right? And it was up. It says, and it raised up itself on one side. And this is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. Let's go to Daniel 8. Right? This is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. And when it said, notice it said in verse 5, it says, and behold, another beast, a second, it says, like to a bear, and it rised up on one side, right? Because you had the Medes, they were mighty, but you had the Persians, they were mightier. So you have one horn with one was lifted up on one side, because that is talking about the Persians. You had the Medes and you had the Persians. So let's read this for proof. Verse 3, it says, then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns. This is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. You had the Medes that came first, and then the Persians, right? And it says, and the 2 horns were high. You see that? The 2 horns were high, but one was higher. And that's talking about the Persians there. It says, but one was higher than the other. And the one that was higher was the Persians. You had the Medes, and then you had the Persians that came, right? And it says, and the higher came up last, talking about the Persians. So you had the Medes that came, then the Persians, right? And when you go down to verse, I believe it's 22, or verse 20, we can prove that's talking about the Medes and the Persians there. That's what that's talking about. The one being high, one high on one side, right? Raised up on one side, right? Daniel 8 and 20, it says, the ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. So there you go. So let's read that again. Daniel 7 In verse 5, it says, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it rise up itself on one side. So now you know that's talking about the Persians there, the Medes and the Persians, right? And it says, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, right? It had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And that's talking about the areas that they conquered. They went westward, southward, and northward, right? That's the areas that they went. And let's prove that. Daniel 8 in verse 4. And I saw the ram, right, which is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, and I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward. Those are the areas and locations that they conquered, right? So that no beast might stand before him because they were mighty. The Persians, they were mightier. They were mighty, all right? And it says, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand because they were mighty. The Medo-Persian Empire, the Persians, they were mighty. It says, but he did according to his will and became great because they were mighty. They were very mighty. They were mightier than the Medes. You had the Medes and you had the Persians that were mightier. So they became the Medo-Persian Empire. See that? The Medo-Persian Empire. Let's go down. Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. We proved that. Okay, that's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. You had the Medes and then you had the Persians. The Persians were mightier, right? And it said, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the feet of it. And that's talking about the locations that they went. We proved that. And they conquered, right? It says, and they said thus unto it, arise and devour much flesh, because they were mighty, right? They were mighty. Verse 6, it says, after this, so that's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. Now we're going into the Greek Empire, and we got precept for that. Daniel 7:6, it says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. This is talking about the rising of the Greek Empire. That leopard is referring to Alexander the Greek. Alexander the Greek. All right, that's who that's talking about right there. And it says, which had upon the back of it four wings of the fowl, right? The beast had also four heads. The four wings and the four beasts have four heads. That's talking about the four major empires of Alexander the Greek. Now he had the five that were prominent, but in the scriptures it's talking about the main four, which was Ptolemy, Cassador, Seleucus, and Lysimachus. Those are the four major empires. Now he had prominent many generals, but the scriptures only mention the main four, which was Ptolemy, Cassador, Seleucus, and Lysimachus. Okay, and then when you go further into that, you want to go more into it, you can go into the Diadochi Wars to verify that. Okay, because they had the Diadochi Wars after Alexander the Greek died. You had the generals, they started going to war with each other, conquering different areas, you know. And it says, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given unto it. And this is talking about Alexander the Greek, right? And let's prove it. We're going to go into the 1611, and we're going to go to First Maccabees, the first chapter. And we're going to get that out for edification purposes. Okay. This is First Maccabees 1 and 1. And we're going to read down to verse 7. Okay. This is First Maccabees 1 and 1. It says, and it had after that Alexander the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land, right, of Chittim, and says, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. So you had the Greeks, the Greek Empire, they took the Greek Empire took over the Medo-Persian Empire. So the Medo-Persian Empire fell to the Greek Empire. So the Greek Empire took over the Medo-Persian Empire. So the Medo-Persian Empire fell to the Greek Empire, right? And it says that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, right? Verse 2, it says, and made many wars, which he did. He made many wars, and he conquered many different lands too, right? And ran many strongholds. So he took over many different areas, many different lands. He conquered it. Alexander the Greek, right? It says, and made many wars and ran many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. And he conquered many regions, many areas. And actually, let me just share that. Let me see if I can go. I think it's called let's look at for edification, because I want to edify in this video. Let's look at a map. So these are the areas that he conquered. So he conquered from Asia all the way down. You see that? All he conquered, all this. This is all that he conquered from Asia all the way to Persia. He conquered all of that. You see that? The conquest of Alexander the Great. See that? This was his whole entire empire that he conquered. You see that? So he conquered from all the way from Macedonia all the way down. See that? So this is how it looks. Egypt. This is all that Alexander conquered. From Egypt to Macedonia all the way across to Persia. See that? So this is all the conquerings of Alexander the Greek. This is what he conquered. See that? Macedonia, Egypt, all the way down to Persia. He conquered all of this. See that? This is all his conquerings. Just to share for edification purposes, you know. It says, verse 3, it says, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted in his heart and was lifted up. Verse 4, it says, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries. And I showed you Macedonia all the way down to Egypt, Persia, conquered all that. That was all him, right? And it says, and he gathered the mighty strong hosts and ruled over the countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. Verse 5, and after these things he fell sick, because he fell sick, and perceived that he should die, and he winded up dying. When that goes, you want to go further more, it goes into the after his death. I believe he died in 332 BCE. I think 332 BCE. Puffy paraphrasing. Let me get that out. I think he reigned from. Let me see. He reigned from. I just want to get it out for edification. Cause, let me see. Bear with me. He reigned from 323 BC to 336 BCE. All right, so that's the longest he reigned. 323 to 336, or 323 to 332. One in between. You get many different dates, but I just want to edify for edification's sake to make sure I'm not going off. But he reigned from 320, I think it's 323 BCE to 332 BCE, but it says 336 here. So you get many different dates. So, brothers, elders, correct me, but I believe it's 320. I'm going to go with 323 BC to 332 BCE. But it says 336, so in between there. I just wanted to get that out, how long he reigned. All right. Verse 6, it says, wherefore he called his servants such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and part his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then he died. But after he died, when you go into the Diadochi War, that's a whole nother story though. When you go into the Diadochi Wars, his generals started having different parts of the countries that the empires of Alexander the Greek, they start owning different areas. You had the Seleucid Empire, right? You had the Ptolemy Empire, the Seleucid Empire, right? You had the Cassador Empire, and they had Lysimachus. You had all these empires of the generals of Alexander the Great, and they started, taking over the areas that Alexander the Great ruled over. Continuing, because I want to wrap this up. Verse 7, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, the fourth beast. And the fourth beast, that's referring to the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire took over, right? The fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron in the teeth of it. And it had great iron in the teeth of it because they had great iron. The Roman Empire, they used iron. They were strongly might in their iron, right? The Roman Empire. And we're going to prove that the fourth beast is the Roman Empire. So let's show you the Roman Empire really quick. All right, the Roman Empire. So this is the Roman Empire. This is what they conquered. As you can see, the Roman Empire here, the locations, right? And let me show you Empire Army, so you can see the iron that they had. And then we're going to get to the main point. And here you go. Let's show you that great iron. They had great iron. The Roman Empire. You see that? solid iron, great iron. They ruled in great iron. The Roman Empire, all right? See that? That's the Roman Empire. Here they are right here. See? The Roman Empire, that great iron. See that? The Roman Empire. So that's what that's talking about. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron in the teeth of it. That's talking about the Roman Empire. They were great in their might, right? It says it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped in residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, because they were mightier than any of them. The Roman Empire, they were mighty in their iron. They had great iron in their military might. It says before it, right? It says, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So it had 10 horns. So the 10 horns that's here in Daniel 7 is not the same 10 horns that's in Revelation. All right. The 10 horns that's in Revelation 17. That's a different 10 horns. These 10 horns here is not the same 10 horns in Revelation 17. I just want to make that clear because, don't want Jakes to be getting confused there. Verse 8, we're going to sum this up. And I considered the horns, right? And behold, there came up among them another little horn. And that little horn is talking about America, which you had the 7 horns, which were the 7 rulerships of the Edomites, which was the British, the Greeks, the British, Germania Minor, the Spanish, the French, the Romans, Germania Major. Those are the 7 heads. But you had the 8th head that came out among the 7, which was America, which came out of Great Britain, which was one of the 7. Okay? Which is America, which is that little horn, right? Which is modern day Rome, modern day Egypt, right? Modern day Babylon. It says, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, which was the British, the French, and the Spanish. Those are the first horns plucked up by the roots. The 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. The British, the French, and the Spanish. Okay? The British, the French, and the Spanish. It says, and behold, in his horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. And that's America and their military. They brag about how great their military are, right? And then to add to it, it also goes into the Queen Anne Wars, Queen Anne Wars, King Philip Wars. Goes into all of that, which goes into America and all of that. You can look that up too. The war between Britain and America and all of that. That's what that goes into. Verse 9, it says, and beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Ancient of Days did sit because the Lord Yahweh, he's going to judge this earth. He's going to judge the earth, and he's going to send back his only begotten son to do that judgment. So the Ancient of Days did sit. It says, whose garment was white as snow, and the hairs of his head like the pure wool. So the Heavenly Father, he has woolly hair. He's a so-called black man, and the only begotten son is a so-called black man and has woolly hair. It says his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. And those wheels is talking about the chariots there. Okay, so that's what that's talking about, the chariots. Okay, so it's giving you a description of the kingdom of heaven, the Messiah, right, the Heavenly Father. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. I just want to do a quick hit on that. Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahweh Kakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, and shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am the brother Mashiach Razakah from the servants of Yahweh Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, and shalom to you, sincere sisters that's listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. On to the next one. I'll probably do a part 2 tomorrow, Lord willing. On to the next one. To the next time I say, shalom.